Many of you watching have been there before, but allow me to paint the scene anyway. You've had a good match. You pushed someone out with 2 generators left. You managed to capitalize on the pressure that you gained from that endeavor. And now, you've closed the hatch. You down the final survivor, you mori them, you head into the endgame screen to type out GG's well played, only to see that all the survivors are not really feeling your victory, to put it mildly. They might be saying something like, "Wow, I can't believe you tunneled in with 2 gens out. Don't you have any skill?" Or, "LMAO, yawn, so boring, I hate this killer. I can't believe people like you exist in this game." Or, "BG, not well played. Actually." I think everyone on both sides of the game has experienced this in some capacity, to be charitable here. But I do personally think that killer players are right to report that it is mostly survivors that run this kind of guilt trip by their opponents. Instead of accepting their loss, or even continuing to be pissy but moving on, they sit back in the lobby, waiting to litigate their loss against the killer like the worst kind of rules lawyer. I don't think I've seen it to this degree in any other game. I've always said, I don't think that the Dead by Daylight community is any more or less toxic than any other multiplayer gaming community. Most of my lobbies on both sides are pretty fun and the banter is pretty chill. But it is a uniquely entitled community, by and large. Some people simply seem to want you to play directly into their hand. This video may end up coming off like a short little rant, but it is something that I've seen people discussing on various platforms recently, and I wanted to give my own 2 cents as someone that tries to see it from both sides. This go around, to be fair, some bias may creep in, but it is a topic that I consider worth bringing up because there are going to be a lot of newer killer players entering the game with the introduction of Springtrap. And I remember what it was like to be that new player being guilt-tripped and yelled at while I was learning how to play the game on a fundamental level. Some of this discourse caused me to develop bad habits, playing like a guilty killer main. Some of it still sticks with me, because I notice that I find myself justifying making plays that could help me win the game. And maybe, if this video reaches people that are still in those formative stages, it'll help them play for themselves while being a good sport towards their fellow gamers. To start, I'd like to say that I understand that some things are annoying to survivors. Being slugged can be boring. Being tunneled, especially when you're someone that struggles in chase, can be irritating and embarrassing. It will still happen, and I promise you that I'm no stranger to it myself. You can find yourself lashing out at that other player because grasping at those straws is all you have when you're being carried to that final hook stage. But that doesn't mean it isn't going to happen all the same, and no matter how frustrating these things may seem to someone, it's kind of silly to just expect the killer to go chill out for a little bit or something. I covered it a little bit in my solo queue video already, but to retread that ground, why do you expect the other side to apologize for deploying a winning strategy exactly? Especially when you are trying to do exactly that yourself, bringing everything you can to push things as close to your own favor as possible. I don't blame people for this. It's just kind of annoying when they complain about me matching their own energy. I often see the moral policing in and outside of the game. Tunneling is bad because you're being a bad sport. The other side isn't having fun, and you're not considering their experience. Oh. Okay. Hey, did you know that I'm not having fun when the survivors spread out all around the map on gens, doing their own objective as quickly as possible, using their advantage in numbers against the fact that I can't be in 2 places at once? Have y'all considered maybe opening some chests, cleansing some dull totems for me? Give me a little bit of breathing room? That might make my experience better. No? Why is it an issue when I take advantage of an injured person on Death Hook then? You could repeat this argument ad nauseum for various things across both sides of the game. But the fact remains that a lot of the discourse ends up focusing on the strategies that killer players employ to maintain pressure on their end. Some survivors like to cite skillful play versus what they see as cheap tricks. Many of the people that loudly talk about this kind of thing aren't going to talk about their own builds, mind you, because the onus is on you, not them, to tie your hands behind your back. I should stop here and really try to explain myself. I'm not making this video because I want to say killer rule, survivors drool, and pile on and on about how I only see one side as whiny. Killers whine all the time, me especially. Furthermore, I find that trying to single out one side as the problem never really helps discourse and never helps people improve their own outlook. This video is telling you one thing. Don't let others make you sweat the small stuff. Don't let other people tell you what is acceptable and fair, because at least with some of them it is an ever-moving goalpost that you will only satisfy by allowing their strategies to play out and for them to come out on top. And furthermore, in many of those cases, they're not going to be kind to you when they're the one on top. When they're sowing, they're on cloud 9, and you lost because you're trash. When they're reaping, they're incredibly underpowered, and you didn't play fair. I spent the first 800 or so hours that I played this game exclusively playing killer, and while my attitude turned much more positive once I actually started solo queuing as survivor and understanding that side of the game and its own values more, that does not mean that I did not experience a whole lot of guilt tripping over merely winning matches along my journey. It sucked. And while I may not be the most skillful and insane player that you've ever seen in this game on either side, if I can impart any wisdom that I've gained in my 3,300 hours on to newer players, it's to not let other people push you around and tell you what the morally correct way to play whatever role you're playing is. You won't be happy, and they probably still won't be either. I made a video talking about solo queue a few months ago, and at the end of that video, I talked about how it's up to those survivors to improve their mental outlook instead of focusing on bad-mouthing the opposition. The same absolutely goes for killer players. Earlier, I talked about how survivors will spread out on gens and play efficiently. That's their right, just like it's yours to gun someone out for pressure when it's down to the line. Both sides have annoying strats they can employ against one another, and if you ask me, it's on both of those sides to get over it and deal with it. Balance discussions are very important, but it's worth noting that some people's idea of balance is whatever helps them win more often. I'm not a saint. I'm guilty of being rude, I'm guilty of being salty, and if you can think of it, I've been there. That's why I've spent so much time analyzing this behavior, coming to my own conclusions about it. I am not a survivor or a killer main. I enjoy both sides. I love this game that pisses me off so much. It's inspired me to create, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. I just think that all of us need to learn how to take a step back and really think about the bigger picture. Whether we're pissed that every survivor we see pre-runs into a pre-drop, or malding about how the killer has been holding this 3-gen firm for a little while now, we should all be mature enough to understand that it's all in the game that we're caught up in. As always, this has been Schizo. GG's, well played, good luck in your next, and thank you so much for watching. It has really meant the world to me. Peace.